UCC turning it around with Michelangelo just burning the match on Johnson. Dipping goes in. Moody picks up the kill and the fight. Moody gets taken down.
So no flash away, ace in the post. At wala na si Asset.
A bit too low on kill rate. That would be a curse.
No time to talk. This is a final warning. I'm just saying I'm not playing. Take a walk. No time to talk. You've got a long way ahead. You better hear what I say and take a walk.
What?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Garena Collegiate League, powered by Lenovo. Challenge what you know. Syempre, kami ang makakasama nyo ngayon for Game 2. We are going to be your casters, Art Gatio Service Ma'am, and of course, with me for... I gotta say welcome. I guess this should be a formal welcome, I guess. I'd like to introduce Chisto, of course.
Chisto, not Cheetos.
Ah, okay, there you go. I have to make sure that I really like food, and a lot of people that kind of catch me on social media knows for a fact that anything that's food related, I kind of feel attuned to, so hopefully I don't mess up your...
Don't.
Hopefully,
get it
fingers
wrong.
crossed. But anyways, talking about the game for today, it is actually going to be Game 2, so I'm actually glad that you're joining us for this, because two of my teams that I pegged to look out for, Far Eastern University as well as University of Caloocan, will be joking out. I know for a fact that you've actually worked with one of the players on the FEU roster. So how do you feel, Macrory, I believe, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I've worked with Macrory, I've coached him before. I think for LCL, he's been playing really consistently. It's led to FEU leading the standings. They're currently 3-0. And I think UCC has to really play well in order to beat FEU today.
Oh, I mean, because what's really interesting, I don't know if you guys are familiar with some of the players here, because FEU, I gotta say, almost the second coming as far as what stars we have from the past. I mean, we have Kido, who does have professional experience, and then Glory as well, who's pretty much a veteran in the LCL. And then we have a lot of fresh talent that, from what I've scouted, really promising, I gotta say. I'm actually wondering if we may potentially see some of these players make it eventually to the amateur scene. I mean, not amateur scene, but semi-pro scene, rather transitioning to the pro scene. For UCC as well, I mean, we've been talking about a lot about FEU, but talking about UCC as well, one of the teams that actually did make the interconference last 2017 spring. So again, another team with very, very high expectations, I'd say. And you can't miss out on the fact that they have some pretty creative naming conventions right there.
Yeah,
Ninja Turtles plus Splinter.
Yeah.
But I mean, so far, what are your thoughts? I know that you've caught a bit of the LCL games from the past. Like, as a coach particularly, what do you think about the potential of the players, and like, would you personally consider LCL a platform for when you scout players to make it to semi-pro to pro?
Yeah, definitely. I'd use LCL. I think some of the players are very, very talented. It's just this you have to shape them more. Like, there's LCL's good experience, but they need even more experience in order to really up their game.
Just a raw potential, basically.
Yeah.
But still kind of needs to be tapped into, molded a bit more, because LCL definitely a great platform for players. I mean, we've seen a lot of individual talent as well as teams that, even though they might not have the best players, make up for it heavily in terms of synergy.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, even for me personally, having worked in the amateur scene, semi-pro scene, pro scene, I have seen a lot of players. You could have some of the best players on the roster, individually speaking, like superstar solo queue talent, but if they can't really mesh together as a team, that's where things really get tricky, I say.
Yeah, that's where like having a good coach can really help the team.
Oh yeah,
Can
definitely.
really help a player like up his game and really push a team forward in terms of macro and synergy.
And like, talking about that, it's something that I feel, especially looking at the local scene, because internationally, it's a given fact that we're seeing a lot of these teams, the national scene. It's pretty much established that coaching staff not just coaching. I mentioned coaching staff because not just the coach, but analysts as well to work with your team to really get in depth as to how you could improve as a team. Slowly in the Philippines, we're not quite there yet, but there are teams that have been stepping up both in the LCL and even in the PGS with acquiring their own coaching staff. Yeah, such as Mineski, we have TME with Chalk, and even in the LCL, I mean, I've worked with TIT before, and then looking at some of the Metro West Conference teams when we actually worked together on the qualifiers, guys. So
Yeah, there were some coaches.
yeah,
there.
there were some coaches. So it's nice to see that some teams are really starting to adapt as well, especially for players. Because I know some players, they kind of hesitate with getting a coach because they feel that they might not be able to play to their comfort, or they're kind of afraid of, kind of going out of the box when they usually play. But, as a coach personally, what are your thoughts on that type of mindset?
Yeah, I think a good coach knows how to really push his players forward regardless of whether or not they're comfortable. I think really, if you coach a player well, it got.
Yes, there we
Okay.
go.
So let's just jump into.
The pick
Oh
and
wait,
ban
I wasn't.
phase.
Yeah.
Yes, there you
Sorry.
go. It's all good. But anyways, looking at this once again, ladies and gents, this is Game 2, FEU Far Eastern Youth University versus UCC University of Caloocan City. So I'm pretty sure that you're not as surprised by these bans thus far.
Yeah, Jan and Karma, in this Ardent Sensor meta, they're really high priority picks. So I'm not surprised to see those bans coming from FEU. So Urgot,
Oh,
that's interesting.
I mean, it's interesting if, for me not so, because being familiar with what McRory plays, he is kind of known for being one of the few regular Urgot players, not just in the LCL, but even in the semi-pro scene.
Yeah,
So well scouted out by UCC, just kind of banning that out, not wanting to deal with that.
Yeah, so FEU picking up Lulu here, that does mean that there are other priority picks such as Sejuani left open for UCC to take, and I won't be surprised if they actually do jump. There it is. Yeah.
Exactly.
So Sejuani, definitely a strong pick in this meta, provides a lot of engage and team fight potential.
Tarek though gonna be locked in. How interesting, because
Tarek is, of course, one of those supports that can make use of Ardent Sensor as well, and really good synergy with Sejuani for team fighting.
and looking at the picks here coming out from FEU, it looks like the Gragas and Kog'Maw indeed gonna be locked in for.
Yep.
Well, then again, this Gragas could kind of go both ways. Most likely in jungle, but potentially towards top as
Yeah, it
well.
can be flex top lane. And Kog'Maw, very strong pick as well. Really standard picks coming out from both teams here so far.
Kido gonna be absolutely devastating on this Kog'Maw right here. I mean, as far as AD carries to really look out for in the Metro West, Kido has definitely one of those people that I'd say has been consistent because of his past experience with Naga Esports and transitioning that into the LCL. I mean, we've definitely seen a lot of talent from LCL making it into the PGS, but we also do see these instances where it's kind of vice versa from the PGS, because of academic priorities. They have to step down from becoming a pro and have to just kind of settle for LCL, and Kido is one of those players, although still definitely a lot of the talent is definitely there. I mean, even though he hasn't been in the PGS for quite a while now, we still see that he'll can still kind of flex some muscles.
Yeah,
I'd
we're
say.
lucky we get to see him represent FEU here for LCL.
But anyways, looking at the second rotation of Banser, Cassiopeia and Shen, as well as Jarvan the Fourth and Azir going to be locked in.
Yeah, and
Ban
UCC
rather.
picking up this Cho'Gath and having Sejuani, Tarek, and Joey, that's a really huge front line for UCC. Gonna give a front line for this Twitch to just free hit at FEU.
And there you go. Quick touch up on the picks here. Cho'Gath going to be taken by UCC. Be responded. Whoa, a Fiora as well as a Sin. Is that going to be a lock in though? Looks like that is going to be the case. McRory on this Fiora. I don't think out of all the games I've actually seen McRory play, if I recall correctly, I've never seen him on a Fiora. So how do you think this will work?
Rory's definitely more known as a tank player, not a hard
Exactly.
carry champion or split pusher. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out for FEU. But given FEU's complete draft here, only Gragas for frontline, like not really big tanks. So it definitely give an edge to UCC for team fighting. And I'm really big fan of their draft here. It looks like they really want to set the pace for the match and pick what fights they want to take.
So there you go. We have all rosters locked in here. Vladimir, of course, the last pick coming in from UCC. So overall, definitely an interesting match to look forward to. But looking at the composition of UCC, what are the strengths and potential pros that they have against what FEU drafted?
They definitely have a better front line than FEU. If it's a full-on 5v5, they're gonna be stronger. But they need to scale. They need these tanks to get items. They need Twitch to get items in order to be able to last in these fights versus FEU.
So there you have it, folks. With both sides locked in. Let us know who you guys are kind of rooting for here. I know for a fact that a lot of the students coming in from both schools here most likely supporting their representatives in the LCL right now. But of course, again, as I've been talking about constantly on stream over and over again, with LCL it's a little bit of a different ground here because we have seen some teams take on some meta picks, but when it comes right down to execution, that's where things kind of get tricky. I mean, even though certain champions are within the meta, if you couldn't execute whether individually or even the overall composition properly, then that's where things kind of falter, which is why we have seen some times in the LCL wherein players would go for certain pocket picks, might not necessarily be in the meta, but because of how efficient they are at the champion execution.
Yeah, they prefer comfort over actually what's strong in the current meta, and I think that's not bad for players who want to win. I mean, comfort is definitely a good thing.
Yeah, it's just and not at the same time it's a smart move because if you're going to think about the structure as to how these conferences go, you only face a team once in the group stage, so it's pretty much make it or break it for every single game that you play, and of course every single win counts. As I've been discussing with Chisto off camp earlier, it's only 4 teams that make it to the knockout stage, so it's quite crucial right now, especially looking at the standings here. FEU definitely at the top, so I think they have a little bit more leeway to lose a game or two. UCC, though, still a little bit...
Yeah, they're 1-2 right now.
Yeah.
This is a must-win for UCC if they do want to be a contender for the knockout stages.
And I know for a fact that, you know, it's definitely something you don't want to miss out on, especially having been a team that was 3rd seed from the last term. But ladies and gentlemen, looks like we'll be heading into the action once again for Game 2 between Far Eastern University and University of Caloocan City. Let's get into the action.
Okay.
So looking at things here, junglers, are they going to be... Okay, so I don't think we'll be seeing anything particularly fancy from both sides. No invades, I gotta say.
Yeah, no invades.
So pretty much...
Gentleman's agreement.
Gentleman's agreement. But there we go. Looking at the starts, though, this is Powder on a Graga, so could potentially opt for a...
FEU stuck in here.
Yeah, a little bit of a sneaky right there.
Doing their best cosplay of Twitch.
Sneaky. Exactly. But, oh, Brian, though, actually catching out Michelangelo. Are they going to go for it, though? Gets the knock-up onto Michelangelo. He's trying to run this out without leaving his bot, but no, looks like he is forced to exhaust that one summoner spell, and that'll make things interesting for McRory towards topside. A little bit of an advantage right there.
Yeah, expect Powder to visit topside to punish that Cho'Gath without flash. It's gonna be really easy to abuse that Cho'Gath in the early game, especially with Fiora.
Looking at things here, though, still, that does force a little bit of a recall for Michelangelo. I don't think that'll necessarily deter him. Probably miss out on a CS or 2, maybe 3, but it depends on how fast McRory, or how McRory manages this first wave coming in, though. But blue start for Raphael here, no surprise whatsoever. Actually, for both junglers, starting towards the bottom side of their map transition.
Yeah, I think where Powder opted to start red side is he wants to punish that Cho'Gath for not having flash. So he wants to path towards that top lane and be able to help McCrory snowball this lane for FEU.
So here we go. A little bit of a hokey-pokey. Really getting some poke onto Leonardo here in that bot lane. But towards the top side, definitely something to look out for here. Powder is making his way from Wolves transitioning into that blue buff. So, but considering the wave towards top though, McRory kind of pushing out a little bit more by a few creeps than Michelangelo. So I'm not sure if he'll be able to get a gank within that first few 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah, of course, since Michelangelo came to the lane late, Macquarie does have an experience advantage, so he will be pushing in that Cho'Gath.
But looking at things here, what I'm interested in seeing is whether or not McCrory will have that diligence, I'd say, as far as managing that wave, because that's actually a pretty good advantage to have with Michelangelo with that flashdown. Definitely leaves him a little bit more vulnerable in ganking lane, but looks like they're going to try something here towards the red buff. Powder making his way. Is he going to try to pursue Raphael? Looks like they will be contenting themselves with taking this red buff instead, but looks like McCrory going to go in hard onto Raphael, dealing quite the damage. Here comes Splinter, though, going to try to help out his teammate. Gets the stun onto Splinter, though. Sanguine Pool going to be procced out to get the escape, and that will be a flash down for UCC.
Yeah, good invade by FEU. Understanding situation, having Cho'Gath pushed in allows Rory to push into that red side jungle of UCC, getting the red buff steal and burning summoners from Splinter and Raphael.
So here we go. What's interesting here is that I wonder if this will eventually manifest into UCC kind of slowly lagging behind, because if FEU kind of keeps up this pace wherein they continue to deny what they can, whether it be in terms of pressure or just taking camps from UCC, this might result in them having a little bit of a slower early game.
Definitely. I think given FEU having these stronger lanes in top and mid, they will definitely push in mid and top 4. They're going to push in UCC's mid and top lane, so it's up to UCC to absorb this pressure and transition into late game, where they can team fight 5v5.
Indeed. Looking at here, pretty much balanced, I'd say. A little bit of the... I'm not really expecting as much action potentially towards the bot side, but looks like Raphael may try something here onto Bry. Gonna get stunned up. No, actually miss it out on that one last stack, but that will leave Bry with less than half his health in that lane.
Yeah, not enough to force him out of lane, really. Just a bit of pressure to relieve from Twitter.
And looks like the wave's starting to get pushed out towards the top side, which will grant Powder that opportunity to get a potential gank on from Rory, because I feel that it would be much more ideal if they could really get things going for this Fiora earlier on, so that McCrory, I mean, especially given that this is a Fiora, could just wreak the havoc that we know he can towards that mid game, if he does reach that certain point of a snowball through Powder's ganks.
Yeah, right now though, Rory enjoying a comfortable 10 CS lead.
It's pretty hefty.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only leading towards 6 minutes into the game, and this big a lead, I'm actually interested in seeing if this will kind of pile up in a way, because we're only heading into 6 minutes. If this continues to grow, then this may be a bit of a struggle for Michelangelo. And itemization-wise, I mean, Doran's shield, Doran's lane, you know, not really leaning towards anything that will build into a first item.
So it looks like they're again bot lane though.
Speed Powder gonna try to go for it. Looks like we'll get the body slam onto John, and Cello forced to flash away, taking so much damage, but here comes the teleport coming in for Michelangelo. Looks like that will be cancelled for the meantime, but still good pressure. Summoner spells just being forced out of UCC constantly.
Yeah, Powder is getting these summoner spells out, but he's really not getting any kills. Like, they're not getting even more value out of these ganks, but still good pressure applied.
I think even though they don't necessarily translate, what would be ideal is if you continue to force members of UCC to just keep on recalling, miss out on CS, those kind of opportunities where they slowly fall behind. I mean, from what we're seeing right now, kind of lingering towards making it to a 1-2 full deficit because of these small instances of pressure coming in from Powder, or even just the small denials from what we've been seeing here, wherein with these summoner spells down, it does force UCC to play a little bit more of a defensive stance because of that lack of escape if ever Powder does go for these aggressive ganks towards lanes.
Yeah, and I think that UCC is content to just constantly absorb this pressure. I mean, they want to scale into that late game, so as long as they don't fall super far behind, I think they're in a good spot to actually win this game.
Definitely. And looking at things right now, Donatello taking down that control ward right there. And Wave kind of pushed out here for Leonardo, so this will put him back onto even terrain as far as CS between him and this Twitch, though. Can't really say the same for Michelangelo just yet, though, considering the different stores. The stop line still lingering towards a consistent 15 to 20 CS deficit between this Fiora and Cho'Gath. And looking at items, though, gonna go for that early Bramble necklace. Looks like that's going to be a little bit of a hokey pokey coming in from Leonardo. Still a little bit of a shield coming in from Wickler to maybe some of that damage.
DF Sword already on this Twitch. Gonna potentially become an Infinity Edge. Gonna really deal damage in these team fights.
So, bit of a trade here. Not really as much significant damage done. But yeah, I mean, looking at things, in contrast to the Cognac, who did go for that recurve bow along with Dunes that will eventually lead to a Berserker's Graves, potentially.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to see.
I mean, Kog'Maw wants to get that Ginsu's Rage Blitz in order to be able to shred these tanks from UCC, in order to be able to shred that front line from UCC.
I mean, considering the front line that they have, that's a lot to deal with. Taric, Cho'Gath, Sejuani, all tanky champions that could really deter.
And it's a huge amount of meat shields for Leonardo here.
Definitely. And that's just going to allow Leonardo to get all the free hit in the world. Especially if Michelangelo, Raphael, and Donatello could build up on enough tankiness to really establish that front line. Unless Kido, towards the build-up, just shreds through them. That would be the tricky part there.
So right now, though, no fight so far. Just farming.
Hesitation here. Looks like Powder with a body slam his way out of there from potential lockdown from Raphael and Splinter.
So I wonder why Splinter isn't the one playing Twitch.
Oh man, I can't believe you that. But okay. Fair enough though.
Would it be more appropriate?
It would be more appropriate but I mean, he's a mid laner, so unless he wants to make some kind of an orthodox mid work, but I don't know. It's not really the time for meta breakers. We have been talking about how each game kind of counts here, so UCC definitely wants to bring out their what picks their efficient act or what could help them guarantee a win in this case. Especially against FEU, because we have been talking about how FEU has been consistently at the top of the ladder thus far within these first 2 weeks that we've had with them at the West Conference. So, yeah.
Yeah, undefeated, 3-0.
It's pretty big. Ooh, but here comes Raphael from the backline, getting that glacial pressure on Twins coming in from Rytho. No follow-up coming in from Splinter because of the stun powder to try to salvage his teammate right there. Ultimate coming in from Splinter. This might be a dead Briar right there. First blood going to Splinter. Powder trying to get out of there as fast as he can. Get slowed down. Double kill for Splinter right there, and that will lead UCC to a great start, equaling out.
Briar overextending there, not respecting Splinter's ability to flash in and actually kill him. Ends up giving UCC 2 kills here.
The teleport will be cancelled out. A little bit of space there for Leonardo from any further pursuit from Kido and Wix.
Yeah, another cancelled teleport from UC. Really indecisive with these teleports.
I mean, like, even though it does establish some level of retreat from Kido and Wix, the fact that it doesn't really... It limits Michelangelo in a sense as far as responses. Not able to use those teleports to actually translate that into successful fights going into killing.
Man, that Bramble Best doing work in these trades.
Rory taking so much damage though from Michelangelo. Luckily, that is a feast down for him though. So that would have been pretty dangerous though if that ultimate had been up.
Yeah, because generally on Cho'Gath, when you're in lane, you want to feast on cooldown so that you can get your stacks faster and get more HP. So that's what we do.
Yeah. So there you have it. Still, regardless, even this might actually be good for Michelangelo because we have seen just how much he's dealing right now to McCrory with Barthing. It looks like Powder gonna try out again here. Body slam onto Michelangelo. Forced to pass away, but here comes Raphael gonna go for the response. Doesn't get a stun on McCrory. Getting some heal. That is gonna be the stun onto Powder though. Powder gonna try to back off. Gets knocked up. Will continue as Raphael gets the kill. McCrory forced under turret though. These are 3 members of UCC converging on this tower. Will FEU be giving this up though? No further members making their way, but looks like Bry gonna go for a response here to prevent any further siege coming in from UCC.
Yeah, really fast collapse there from UCC, and Raphael being at the right place at the right time for that counter gang. Really, really well played by UCC.
go though here towards bot side. FEU trying to push out a little bit of that turret HP from this UCC bot lane turret right there. And I mean, overall, I'm really loving the proactivity from UCC thus far, really taking advantage of that Sejuani across the map here, early towards mid, back towards top side.
Yeah, it looks like UCC is weathering this early game pressure really well. They really absorbed it well, and now they're working on this 1k gold lead.
Organization here across the board. This is what we've been talking about today. Cho'Gath, Sejuani, as well as the Taric, gonna try to get some form of tankiness as fast as they can. Looks like Taric, though, of course, has priority to the support. Gonna go for this Ardent Sensor early enough because of that easy proc to his kit.
Yeah, so what FEU wants to do here to regain control of the game is they want to play around their winning lane, which is so far bot lane. Kiddo and Wix are pressuring Leonardo and Donata really hard, so I want to see Powder go in the bot lane, get them even further ahead, and potentially bring FEU back.
And from what we've been seeing thus far, though, I mean, as far as ganks coming in from Powder towards the spot side, I believe we've only seen one. Not really as much after that. There has been much more priority towards this mid side and top side, but then again, it could be attributed to the fact that if you're going to see most of the wave here for both Kido and Wix, it has been pushed out for most of the phase of this early game for FEU. So that does leave out some opportunity for Powder to have gotten the game.
I'm not surprised that Powder opted to play around mid and top, since those are the naturally winning lanes for FEU. It's a really smart choice there, but I think now he needs to adapt in order to bring FEU back into this match.
Yeah, definitely a lot of opportunity here because they have all the potential to really accept some sort of dominance if played right. It's just that at the same time, for all the ganks that we've seen from Powder towards top side and mid side, I wouldn't even say necessarily ganks, it's more of responses to an extent. You know, for every time Powder was in the vicinity, so was Raphael to get a response on, or maybe it's even the opposite at times, where Powder initiates, but then there's Raphael to respond in exchange. So we'll just have to see again. It's really about opportunities that needs to be sought out by Powder here.
Yeah, so looks like they're going to reset here. They're going to go back to farming.
Pretty much here, but looks like after towards that mid side though, is going to try something not exactly right. Is kind of playing a little bit more safe. They're going to make a recall for now. Going to potentially complete. Actually, building up on Magic Resist, I'm not sure if this will lead towards Mercury. Okay, there we go. Morellonomicon is going to be completed along with the Mercury Tread. So
yeah, the Merc Tread just shows he's respecting Splinter's damage now, given that he is up 2 kills. He's really just trying not to get bursted down by that Vladimir during these skirmishes.
Commendably, though, I gotta say, Bri, regardless of the fact that he is down 1 death in comparison to a 2-0 Vladimir, in terms of CS, not really deterred as I would have potentially expected. 135 to 138, so that's not really much of a big, only half a wave. You're gonna look at it, but looks like Powder, he's gonna try something though. Really has to time his execution correctly if ever he wants to get an in onto Leonardo. Looks like just patiently waiting. Patience is key for Powder here. Gonna go for it. Leonardo gets isolated here. Coming in from Donatello. Not granted that 2 seconds. Will it be safe? Leonardo though gets knocked up. Here comes the teleport though coming in from Michelangelo. Wix getting the kill onto that Twitch. Bride coming in as well, trying to prevent Wix from getting it into this fight. Though Michelangelo getting the kill onto Wix, but in exchange for a combo on for the kill for Donatello. Flicker gets the kill onto Guido as Bright has to back away. McCrory trying to deal as much as he can onto Michelangelo. Here goes Flicker as well. Will be backing away. McCrory gets the kill onto Michelangelo. Will he continue? No, that will ultimately end in a 2-for-3 in favor of FEU.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, FEU has to play around this Kog'Maw, get this Kog'Maw ahead in order for them to win the game. And see right there, Powder goes for a gank in the bot lane, gets a full-on fight there, and FEU win.
Yeah, pretty much FEU. I mean, even though it doesn't really translate for in terms of kills for Kido, those 3 assists, I say, I mean, now he has Ginsu's for each play completed. So this is a key item for that Cosmo there. But in contrast though, Leonardo completing up on that ruling circuit, and he does have that PF stored for a little bit more damage, but looks like Glacial Person connecting onto Bri, forced to use the flood. Splinter gonna try to go in. Are they gonna go for the tower dive? No, they decide to cancel out for the meantime.
Yeah, Cleanse saving Bry's life there. Didn't have that Cleanse, he would have I think he would have died there.
Definitely. It looks like currently 3 and 5 on the scoreboard. As far as gold goes, still definitely leaning towards UCC because of the upper hand in terms of kills. And looking at things though, Raphael trying to go in with powder, not touching anything though. But still, yeah, as I was saying here, still pretty much even, I'd say.
Yeah, as we transition into this mid game, both teams are practically even here. It's gonna come down to who can team fight better. And of course, in team fights, UCC's comp is way better than FEU, so it'll be really up to FEU to play these fights well and choose which fights to take.
Ooh, okay. So Raphael, he will be continuing getting a stun onto Splinter though. Here comes Powder. Are they going to try something? They're going to try to take down Splinter. In they go. Splinter kind of caught out on the wrong side. Shut down through Powder. It looks like they'll be pursuing Raphael as well. Try a little bit lower in form of the mana spectrum, but they'll be contenting themselves with that one kill.
Yeah, Raphael just a bit late there to save his mid laner. Powder really proactive here, trying to give FEU this lead. It looks like that gank mid will transition into an Infernal Gate for FEU. Really good for Cosmo.
Yeah, that's gonna juicy objective for them right there. And they're just gonna hurt all the more, especially if you're gonna look at the composition that FEU has. You have a lot of champions that kind of deal some damage here. A Glory on the Fiora, Bri on the Syndra, Kiddo on this Cosmo, all very, very painful champions, especially once they start really building up on the items needed, complemented with the burn break in the match.
Yeah, good job by FEU for picking up the first real big objective of this game. Really trying to get control.
Oh my goodness, and looking at the next Drake actually coming up, another Infernal. If FEU could seal that deal, I mean, even with all the tank members on UCC, it might be a little bit more trickier for them with those percentages up and amplified damage through that Infernal Drake.
I expect UCC to set up for that and actually contest FEU for that. They want to draw FEU into these 5v5 fights where they can win. So expect UCC to set up around that next Drake in the next few minutes or so.
It's like no takes on this Rift Herald as we do hit that 20-minute mark, as Baron spawns now is currently live. So with that dragging down for the next few minutes or so, this is another objective that they kind of want to play around. But then again, it is kind of early though. The Glory will be pushing out this turret, but Splinter gonna be coming in as well. Is the knockup gonna come in? Riposte coming in from Glory. Look at the damage. There's so much being dealt on. Raphael also joins the I don't think Glory will survive this. Splinter gets the kill.
Yeah, McCrory overextended in lane there, not respecting UC's ability to collapse onto him, and his team just a bit late to try and save their top laners.
A little bit tunnel there on trying to take down that turret. Ryan Powder into the city. I don't think they'll be able to save this turret though, as first turret of the game goes to UCC. So UCC, a little bit of a fight happening here towards bot side. There's so much chance we turret from Leonardo. Kiddo as well misses out 3-second window for UCC of vulnerability to save it.
Yeah, so UCC picking up the first tower, really gonna try even out the gold here. So looks like FEU want to reply with a turret of their own.
Yes, Kiddo and Wix gonna go hard on it as Leonardo and Donatello make the retreat. Gonna give them that turret for the meantime. Would have been dangerous if they did kind of linger around there. So good call from UCC. But still, turret for turret traded.
Yeah, so for the teams, I think they should look to pick up this fight.
There we go, a little bit of fight there happening right. Taking quite a bit there. Powder gonna come in, though. Deal a bit. Sandwich will come in from Syndra. I don't think they'll be able to survive this, though. Gets the full ultimate from Syndra as Powder secures the kill. They're gonna continue to use the stun onto Raphael. They are continuing to pursue. Powder gets the body slam, but Pride getting the kill. Now 2-1 on the Syndra.
Yeah, Raphael getting a taste of his own medicine. Powder being able to get mid lane quick and be able to execute that counter, which will potentially lead to a Baron for FEU. Especially with this Kog'Maw, this Baron is going to drop so fast.
plus the compliments of the Infernal Drake, granting that additional damage right there. Donatello, Michelangelo, and Leonardo gonna try to make the steal.
There is Cho'Gath piece though.
Indeed, that's gonna be quite the heavy damage right there. Are they gonna go for it though? Looks like UCC gets the Baron. Only Leonardo and Donatello will be getting that buff though, but still, that is pretty big for UCC right there.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for FEU losing that Baron buff after those 2 picks mid lane. Really not respecting Cho'Gath Feast. Yeah, and that's gonna prevent them from sieging further into UCC's base.
And I'm surprised that FEU didn't estimate that Wix though might eventually be going down, will be the sacrifice so that Bri and Keto could make the retreat under turret. But still, these are 4 members of UCC making the siege with a Baron empowered Wix. Rachel Griffin coming in, Bri gonna get the lockdown, Splinter getting the kill as they go hard onto this mid outer turret, and down it goes for UCC.
Yeah, FEU just overextending there after the failed Baron pick, trying to get try to cut their losses and potentially take UCC's mid tower, but instead they end up overextending and they lose 2 towers in the process.
7-8 on the scoreboard right here. That'll be an internet turret as well. A lot of value actually for UCC. Not only getting that Baron, but 2 turrets within like 3 minutes of that time from when they got that steal. Man, that's a lot of efficiency for UCC right there. Surprisingly though, I mean, even with 2 turrets taken, the gold difference not quite as big as I would have expected.
Yeah, it's still fairly even, and I think that could be a credit to McCrory and his advantage in CS over this Cho'Gath. I mean, he's been farming a lot more than Michelangelo.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at CS difference, definitely on the bigger end of the spectrum for top lane and both carries towards bot as well. 211 to 180, so that's roughly 30 CS for both marksmen here. McCrory caught tight between 3 members of UCC. Wick's going to try to go for the save, but McCrory flashes out to safety.
Yeah, lucky for FEU, they're able to disengage her. A pick would have been disastrous for them as they may have lost potentially a bot tower there.
Not only that, Dragon actually live within 35 seconds now. And like we've been talking about, this is an Infernal Drake. I mean, a second Infernal Drake would be Christmas for FEU given their composition. But UCC in themselves as well kind of want to make up for, I wouldn't say lack of damage, but would make them a little bit more painful considering that they do have a better front line, more tankier champions than FEU having a lot more carry range.
Yeah, definitely. So it looks like Michelangelo will be pushing out here, trying to set up top lane to push for them. Yes.
Splinter kind of lingering towards this inside. FEU go for the defense. It looks like Infernal Drake is up. Is FEU going to contest though? That is the question.
Corey has teleport.
Ooh, that would right there. Looks like FEU going to linger around though, but with that 1,003 damage coming from the red team, indeed UCC securing that Infernal Drake. So that'll be an Infernal Drake each into the pocket of FEU and UCC respectively. McCrory getting some form of split towards this top side though. Both top laners actually do have teleport up, so if anything does break out towards other sides of the map, they could make a teleport response easily.
Yeah, so the strengths of UCC's comp showing there. I mean, FEU couldn't do anything because if they do take that fight, they would lose in a straight 5v5. So really smart choice for FEU to back off, and also a smart choice for UCC to know the strength of their comp. But looks like
this is what we've been talking about as far as red. It doesn't necessarily matter how tanky your champion is, but then again, if you're going to look at what Michelangelo has built out thus far, it's more of health items as opposed to armors and magic resist, which is why it's still a pretty good constant shred coming in from the combined efforts of McCrory and Kudo here. And with McCrory having his Black Tube as well, reducing that armor onto Michelangelo, which made it a little better shred for both Kudo and McCrory.
yeah, so FEU want to take advantage of this 4v5 situation. Gonna push it out, but it looks like there's a fight.
It's going to be propped up there by Donatello. Leonardo getting the kill onto Brian McCrory. The next step of damage counter forced to flash away, leaving Wix and Keto to fend for themselves. Double kill for Splinter. Keto trying to run this out, so very, very low on health. Is he going to make it though? That is the question. Gets a little bit of slow onto the rest of the members of UCC. UCC still very, very much. That is going to be the slow from the Twitch. A stun and a lockdown. Splinter gets the kill.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. You cannot go straight head into a 5v5 fight or even a 4v5 fight into the comp in UCC as they are just superior for team fighting. So it looks like UCC wants to take down this inhibitor, inhibitor turret.
Indeed, 5-man siege coming out here from UCC here. Are they going to be able to take it though? Powder, the only one to defend McFlurry, and Wix are already along with Dry. I'm not sure it will be in time though to fend off for the inhibitor turret save. Inhibitor though, they might be able to save here though. UCC continuing the siege. FEU looking for an opportunity to go in. Leonardo just hitting on this inhibitor turret. Looks like it is going down. Inhibitor rather. And there's a fight happening here. Ultimate going on to Raphael. Looks like Bry will be getting the kill. McCrory very, very low though. 3 members of FEU converging onto Splinter. Splinter goes down. Shutdown going to Powder. Those are 2 members of UCC down thus far. McCrory trying to run this out. Looks like he will be up and running for the save.
Yeah, UCC looking a bit disjointed there, whether or not to take the buildings or to disengage or to team fight. Like, really, really indecisive, and they get punished for it, giving up 2 kills for FEU.
10-13 right now. I mean, these kills still playing around very equally, and it translates even right down to the goal. If you're gonna look at things, even with 5 turrets and 3 kills in favor of UCC, still the goal, I'd say, playing on equal ground. It's still pretty much anybody's game from what I've been seeing here. It's just that better siege from what UCC had managed to accomplish. I mean, with an inhibitor down, that's definitely a lot more pressure that FEU has to deal with.
Yeah, but even though UCC gave up those kills, it's really good that they took the inhibitor. So mid lane's gonna auto shove for them. So that's a bit more map pressure for them.
And looks like, interesting to note, the Baron will be up in 23 seconds. So this is going to be something that FEU has to contend for. UCC already establishing a form of vision towards this Baron pit. Going to be up in 10 seconds. Really going for the pursuit though. Still, Splinter is a little bit far off towards that bot side along with Michelangelo. Still has teleport up though. So we might see a fight break out within the next few minutes. Potentially a Baron fight. We'll just have to see McCrory really juking it out with Michelangelo. Splinter going to be joining the party though. McCrory trying to do what he can, dealing so much damage. Gets a little bit of heal on through the ultimate. Going to try to go for Splinter now, but I don't know if he will be able to resist all that magic damage coming in. Splinter getting the kill. That'll be a 1-for-1 for both top laners. Down they go.
Yeah, McCrory really good for him to take that 1-for-1 trade in a 2v1 situation, but it looks like FEU wants to use their numbers advantage here in the 4v3.
Indeed, Splinter though exerting a little bit of pressure towards God's side here. FEU going to try to push for something. Powder body slam doesn't connect onto the top. Oh no. Splinter going to be going for a recall. Looks like won't be pursuing that push towards God's side though.
Yeah, so we've been talking about these fights for almost the entire game now, and for FEU, in order for them to win these fights, they need Kiddo to be able to shred the front line of UCC. They need Kiddo to survive the engage from the Turtles. So you better watch Kiddo in these upcoming fights, especially with Baron being up now, and looks like UCC is the first to collapse onto it.
Are they going to go for it though? Just getting some vision down from FEU's side of things here though. That will leave FEU a little bit in the dark here. So UCC will be cut out by that ward though. So a little bit of sneaky ward right there. Still granting FEU a little bit of vision on the whereabouts of UCC, lingering towards the Baron pit. All things here for UCC. I mean, they definitely have a great platform in the form of this inhibitor being pushed out. Like you did mention, this is a wave that just constantly pushes out with that super minion wave. So what they may want to try to do is just get some pressure across the board for all lanes that may potentially establish a signal for a Baron, or even just a faked out Baron to lure FEU into a death pit.
Yeah, but Rory, really good job by Rory by pushing out these side lanes, because Cho'Gath cannot 1v1 Fiora in the side lane, so UCC has to send more than one guy in order to deal with the pressure Rory is providing. We'll see, Rory might potentially draw members of UCC bot lane, which can open up a Baron for FEU, which will fall down quickly because they have a cog with Rageblade.
Right, they're making it. Ooh, not a stun connecting, but still will be forced to back off a little bit. That is going to be UCC establishing some level of vision once again in the Baron side. still McCrory. Great split push coming out here. Note though, still both top laners have their teleport. So if any fights break out towards that Baron pit, easy responses coming in from both McCrory and Michelangelo respectively.
So,
There we go, a little bit of the trade happening between these two top laners here. McCrory just kind of balancing things. Splinter as well. Once again within the vicinity, this will be a 2v1. McCrory fights for dear life. Donatello going to be joining the party as well. He's trying to do what he can, but Splinter gets the kill.
yeah, but it looks like FEU want to go for this Baron since they drew so many members from UCC bot lane, but there's a response from UCC. Raphael coming up the river here.
More members trying to shred at this Baron. Here comes the teleport though, coming from Michelangelo, is making an effective lead of 4-on-4 now. That Baron easily goes down. Powder getting it, but still a lot of members of UCC going to converge on the members of FEU. Brian Wicks trying to back away, but looks like they'll be sacrificing Kido in order for the rest of FEU to preserve this Baron buff.
See, like I said earlier, UCC has to send more than one member in order to deal with Rory, and Rory absorbing that pressure nets his team the Baron. Really well played by FEU for really gutsy call there.
And the value of that is because a lot of effort was exerted onto McCrory, not just in the form of just taking him down. That also forced an ultimate from Michelangelo. So even with the teleport, even though he was able to respond in time, that didn't really grant him the opportunity for a steal that he would have as compared to earlier because of that 1000 true damage coming in from that Cho'Gath.
Yeah.
So that was a missed out opportunity, which allowed Powder a little bit more safety and confidence in getting the proper smite by securing that Baron.
Yeah, UCC though will take down the mid inhibitor of FEU again.
Really tried to balance. Luckily though, with this Baron, they could potentially balance this out. We'll just have to see as to what configuration UCC goes for. It is a plus though that they have the Baron, so with McCrory still having his teleport up, could go for a split configuration. But then again, McCrory, I don't think he made it in time to actually have that Baron buff himself.
Yeah, I don't think it's on him. He will still be hard to deal with in a side lane though, being Fiora, being 80 CS already up compared to this Cho'Gath. UCC really have to send resources in order to deal with him, or he's just gonna destroy their towers.
There you go though. Yeah, McCrory didn't go for his regular juke out with Michelangelo, but still McCrory taking a lot of damage himself, but doesn't want to try to force anything under turret. FEU as well, trying to get a push on towards this mid lane here. 4 members of UCC gonna respond to this though.
Yeah, so it looks like things have slowed down a bit here. Like, I think UCC is just looking for an opportunity to engage.
Indeed. I mean, even with this Baron buff, kind of almost down because of a super minion wave pushing out in exchange. McCrory gonna make a recall though, and that will leave out on any further pressure across other lanes. FEU gonna continue to push out this mid lane here though, but look at the easy takedown, even with the Baron empowered minions here. Easy takedown for UCC.
Yeah, really good job by UCC by stalling and clearing these waves. Like, FEU can't siege yet. They need Rory to push out the side lane first and force UCC members to collapse onto him in order to create a numbers advantage so that FEU can actually push and siege these turrets.
UCC getting a bit of a push here on their own towards the mid, but looks like they'll be transitioning potentially towards the top side. Are they going to try to go for McCrory? Of course, in exchange, they will be establishing some level of control themselves towards this top side by denying vision from FEU.
So, looks like Michelangelo will be sent topside to clear the wave that Rory just pushed in.
Interesting though, McCrory, Guardian Angel now under his belt. 2 lives for him if ever anything hefty pushes. And again, like we've been talking about, UCC, they need to exert a lot more manpower to take down McCrory. So with that Guardian Angel up, definitely grants McCrory that stall potential, where the rest of FEU could make plays across the map. Not necessarily plays, but even the simplest siege. And what pressure FEU can deal with McCrory being that distraction from UCC.
Yeah, and this is how FEU's comp is supposed to be played. Fiora is a split pusher, more of a split pusher rather than a team fighter. So definitely good job by FEU understanding that and respecting the engage and backing off whenever they see Rory not in a position to actually push a tower or a wave.
Indeed. 11 and 16, though. Again, with the scoreboard, doesn't really matter because things are still fairly even for both sides. I feel like it's just ultimately both teams needing to live up to their win conditions. Very different, I'd say. UCC trying to look for a full-on collapse with all the power that they have to get an engage on. I mean, just one glacial person, it almost pretty much ensures a lockdown onto one of the members of FEU if they don't play their cards correctly, which is why we're seeing a lot more carefulness from FEU, while UCC just looking for that opportunity for one member of FEU to potentially either get isolated. Looks like Powder might be that in that case, but still no further pursuit from UCC as Powder makes the escape.
Well, Powder is actually alone there, but UCC hesitated because they didn't have vision of the rest of FEU, being scared of actually running into the rest of the team, but looks like Rory will take... Cho'Gath just does nothing versus Rory.
I mean, even with all that health right there, Rory, it's interesting because if you're going to think about it, Michelangelo, a lot of itemization, very tanky in terms of the health spectrum, but as we see, because there isn't as much of armor to deal with what more exerts, it's mostly more health across the board here with that Righteous Glory, with that, not even the Bramble that's even completed for him. So McRory just going at it on the turret, and there's not much that Michelangelo can do except for just be a warm buddy that's along the lines of that turret there.
Yeah, UCC hesitating to pull the trigger here. Really scared to engage. I wonder why.
It's interesting because if you're going to look at it, they have all the engage tools here to go full on FEU, playing a little bit more careful than they potentially could. I mean, they do have a leg up. Sure, the goal difference isn't quite there, but ooh, Elder Drake is up. If ever FEU does secure that, man, oh man, is that going to be a painful roster that they have. It looks like they have a little bit of a lock on here onto Raphael, preventing him from potentially going for the steal. McCrory still going at it into the Elder Drake. Looks like Ultimate going to be popped up here coming in from Donatello. We are seeing a fight happening. Great stun here from UCC, preventing any further collapse though. Michelangelo trying to go in, but Kido, man, oh man,
Kido's still alive.
Bry getting the kill onto Leonardo, but looks like Kido just doing a lot of free hitting towards the backside. FEU himself running away from McRory. Michelangelo, that is going to be the ace. Triple kill, and this will be the signal for FEU to get the siege towards mid lane.
Yeah, FEU winning a 5v5 fight versus a team fighting team just shows you how good of a team they are.
Man, oh man, that was insane. And what's interesting there is that even with the invulnerability, those few seconds that they do have that, a great stun coming in from Bryce so that no further collapse could have happened from UCC, that they missed out on that opportunity. And when they still committed to that fight, because of losing out on that ultimate from the turret, it was just Kido shredding through with McRory frontlining as well. But looks like this may potentially be the game. Very hefty death timers. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner even with Powder down. That doesn't matter. Congratulations, Far Eastern University winning Game 2 for today's round of matches. Woo.
Good game.
Good game indeed, I gotta say. Interesting though, like we have been mentioning, UCC had all the tools to get any form of initiate that they can onto FEU, but that hesitation towards the last few minutes.
Yeah, and I felt like during the last team fight, they kind of tunneled too much onto Kido.
Indeed.
Yeah, and they weren't able to actually peel for Leonardo there, and Syndra actually one-shot Twitch during that fight, so a lot of DPS gone. Really sealed that fight for FEU.
And I gotta say, that teamwork coming in from FEU, this is what I've been talking about right here. If you could form a team in the LCL that not only has individually talented players, but if you get that synergy working on as well, then, you know, really makes a strong team by collegiate standards. But looking at the stats right here, I mean, even with Splinter 13 and 4 on this Vladimir, because the rest of UCC wasn't necessarily able to follow suit, it was just FEU overwhelming them.
Yeah, so let's talk about McRory not playing a tank champion. Really performing well on this Fiora. I'd definitely give props to him for understanding what he needs to do and
Indeed.
what his role on the team is.
Definitely quite refreshing to see, especially for just his history of champions played out thus far. It's nice to see that he is able to make that adaptation in the LCL. But
yeah.
Ladies and gents, that has been Game 2. Congratulations once again to Far Eastern University. Well played as well to University of Caloocan City. But when we do come back, we still have a lot more games up. So ladies and gents, once again, this has been the Garena LoL Collegiate League, powered by Lenovo Challenge. What you know, this has been Arctic, along with me is Chiso. We'll be right back. Nothing in as well, trying to prevents Splinter from getting it into this fight. So Michelangelo getting the kill onto Wix, but an exchange combo on for the kill for Donatello. Splinter gets the kill onto Guido as Bright tries to back away. McCrory trying to deal as much as he can onto Michelangelo. Here comes Michelangelo, will be backing away. McCrory gets the kill onto Michelangelo. Really can see
But it looks like there's a fight.
He's making it going to be propped up there by Donatello. Leonardo getting the kill onto Brian McCrory with next of damage. Counter force to flash away, leaving Wix and Guido to fend for themselves. Double kill for Splinter. Guido trying to run this out the fight. Having a great stun here from UCC. Preventing any further collapse though. Michelangelo trying to go in, but Guido, man oh man.
Guido's still alive.
Brian getting the kill onto Leonardo, but looks like Guido just doing a lot of free hitting towards the backside. FEU himself running away from McCrory. Michelangelo, that is going to be the ace. Triple kill. Congratulations, Far Eastern University winning game 2 for today's round of matches. Woo. Good game indeed.
Not enough Garena shells to buy the latest League of Legends skin? On sale now? Get shells anytime, anywhere with your Globe or Touch mobile number. Go to gamer.com.ph and sign up with your mobile number and enter the verification code you will receive via SMS. Log in and choose the game and pin you want. Check out to purchase the pin with your load or through your postpaid account and receive the pin on your phone instantly. Never miss a sale on your favorite League of Legends skins and champions with Gamer.